Hey guys, I'm Nikki Dinky. Welcome to my kitchen. So today we're making fresh pasta, which is something I wanted to do for so long and just was a little intimidated. You know, it's fresh pasta, you don't really know where to start. Well, let me tell you, it's really not that hard. And this recipe in particular really makes it easy. So stick with me, I'm gonna show you all my tricks to making some fresh pasta. When I first started making pastas, I'll admit, it didn't always go so well. You know, a couple tears in the kitchen. It can be kind of a difficult thing, the dough, to get it to the consistency that you need it to. And I found that in all semolina flour pasta, not only did I enjoy the flavor more, but it ended up being a lot easier than some of the more regular flour-based recipes. So we're using all semolina flour. Now, semolina flour is what a lot of pastas are made from, sometimes in a combination with regular flour. You can probably find it in your regular grocery store. If not, though, you want to look for like an Italian specialty market. But it's really not that rare. You probably just never really used it before. So I'm going to use 3 1/3 cup of the semolina flour. I'm also going to put in 4 eggs. Now we want to be really specific about the amount of moisture we put in here. So I want you to measure these 4 eggs and make sure they measure to about 7/8 of a cup. It's really important that we have some exact measurements here. Now I'm also going to add in a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, give our pasta some flavor. And then last, just 2 tablespoons of water and a tablespoon of oil. And that should be perfect, and it should actually come together really easy for you. Pretty easy. We got all of our ingredients in here. I measured out my eggs, so we should be all good on the right amount of moisture. Now I'm going to mix this up with my regular mixer paddle for about 30 seconds just to really incorporate everything and break up those eggs. Then I'm going to use my dough attachment, my little dough hook. I can remember things. I'm going to use my dough hook for about 2 minutes because I really want to start to kind of almost knead that dough. But we are going to do some kneading by hand, you know, got to put some elbow grease in there. So I'm going to give it 30 seconds with my regular mixer, get that combined, give it about 2 minutes with my dough hook, and then we can take it out and knead it by hand. So if you don't have a solid ball, that's okay. You actually kind of shouldn't quite yet. What you do want to make sure you have is dough that is very pliable, doesn't fall apart or start crumbling. You know, I can really shape this into anything I want. You also want to make sure it's a little bit tacky, you know, it's got a little bit of moisture in there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to knead this by hand. Now kneading it by hand is really going to allow us to really control the texture, smooth it out, and it's just really important. You know, these are your best tools, so you got to do it by hand. The dough hook can only take us so far. Now when you're kneading, all you're doing is pushing the center, folding it over, and pushing the center against your countertop. We're going to do that for about 2 minutes, and then it should be a little bit smoother and you can form it into one nice ball. Don't be too upset if it's not the most beautiful looking ball you've ever seen. You know, this stuff is not pizza dough. It's really hard to knead. And that's why the machine is really gonna help us, because we're actually gonna knead it a little bit within a machine, whether you've got one that attaches to your mixer, you've got a hand one. So it's gonna kind of take it to that next step and make it really smooth. So I'm gonna take about 1/8 of this, and then I'm gonna wrap up the rest, because this dough doesn't need to rest like some other doughs, but it will dry out really quickly and it'll affect how your pasta looks. So take about 1/8 of this. That's going to give us one nice sheet of pasta. I'm making these into ravioli, so I'm looking for one that's about the size of my ravioli maker. And the rest I'm going to, well, wrap up. right, so now we've got a more manageable piece here. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this on my very biggest setting, which is the lowest number. What that means is that these two little rollers in there are gonna be as far apart as possible. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be really kneading this until it's smooth. I'm gonna put it through and then I'm gonna fold it on itself and I'm gonna put it through and fold it on itself. Once it's really nice and smooth, then we can start going up in numbers, which means that it's gonna get thinner and thinner. So once we've done that on the first setting, the biggest setting, then I'm gonna feed it through on 2, I'm gonna feed it through on 3, and continue on until I get as thick or as thin as I want it. Not too bad, right? Look, we have a beautiful sheet of pasta. Now you could cut this with your pizza cutter, you know, your pizza wheel, and just go and cut strips. If your attachment cuts it for you, that's always awesome. You know, you could do this by hand with your rolling pin. It just would take a lot of elbow grease. And if you're having some trouble when you're first going on that lowest setting and kneading it and folding it over itself, if it's really crumbling on you, take a little water in your hands, push it into the dough, and then try it again. You might just need a little bit more water. This is very sensitive dough when it comes to moisture. But I'm gonna leave mine a little on the thicker side because I'm making raviolis, and I find that if it's too thin, the ravioli filling will actually start to poke through the pasta, which is obviously no good. But hey, fresh pasta, just like that. I hope you guys try and make this. I hope you have fun in the kitchen, and I will see you next time.